We're buying a house! I am getting a house. I say I, but it's me and my boyfriend. We are getting a house. And the funny thing is, we actually put down an offer on this place without even seeing this property in person. Hello. So the first viewing that I had of this property was through a WhatsApp call. This was the only way we could have done the viewing at the time. I will be showing proper footage of the house later on in the video, by the way. But my phone was running out of storage, so the recording cut halfway through.
The sort of shoes and coats in here.
Okay.
And then you have like a little storage cupboard behind the door.
Oh.
In here, which is good for like ironing board or like shoes and coats or whatever in there. So this is their kind of like their office / living room space at the moment. So
Oh yeah, because everyone's working from home. Yeah.
Yeah, everyone's working from home at the moment. It's crazy. So yeah, so you got all this space in here. So I'll just show you the living room. So you can see upside living room space.
Yeah.
It's got space under the stairs. There's like a little understairs cupboard just under here, and then you've got more space under the stairs here as well.
Yeah.
Where their TV and their speakers. Then you've got like there's an electric fireplace in here, all built in as well.
Okay, that's nice.
Pretty cool. And there's some nice big windows at the front there, so it's nice and light in here. A bit dark. It's getting a bit darker now, but it is nice and light.
Yeah.
And then they've got a feature radiator on the wall here. This is the only radiator in the living room, just on the wall, like a big tall one.
Nice. I like those.
And then you go through to the kitchen diner. So it's a nice house. This one. It's a good house. It's 3 bedrooms, 1 bathroom, but it's a nice big kitchen space. You've seen all the photos online, I'm sure already. But so you've got like dining table space here, and then you've got kitchen. So you've got integrated appliances. So you've got the fridge freezer built in here.
Okay.
Okay, you've got the dishwasher built in here,
Nice.
and then you've got the washing machine, obviously freestanding washing machine there.
On the pictures, I saw something on the floor. I just wanted to know what it was. It's like where the fridge is. Yeah, that.
Oh, there?
Yeah.
It's just like marks in the flooring. Like the flooring's just scuffed.
Oh, okay. Yeah, just wondering.
I think it's like real wood. It's like real wood flooring, so it just scuffs and scratches quite easily.
Okay.
It's like polishing up. And then you've got the boiler which they replaced, which is a combi boiler, so you don't need a water tank.
Oh, nice. When did they replace it?
Been in for like 3.5, 4 years, so when they moved in.
Oh, okay.
And then out the back, so you've got nice patio space out here. It's nice and sunny today actually. It's a bit blue skies. So you've got the patio space here, and then you've got the garden, which obviously goes up onto the next level up. And here, show you roughly what that is like. In here. I don't know. I didn't put my shoes on, it's damp out here. You've got like space that goes around the side there as well, by the side gates.
Oh, okay.
And then there's like a little bit of space around the corner there by the garage there, around the side as well. Nice and private, like no one can really see into the garden, which is really nice.
Yeah.
Just have a look upstairs. So I'm just on a bit of a timer. I've got more viewings here today as well. I've got like 5 people seeing the house. So you've got a good sized landing space.
Yeah.
And then you've got this is the 3rd bedroom. So it's just like a small single bedroom, this one. You've got single bed in here, and then you've got wardrobe storage space as well.
Nice.
And then windows to the front. Then you've got the main bedroom through here. So this is the master bedroom in here.
Yeah.
So double bedroom with obviously large windows at the front.
Mm.
And then you've also got built-in wardrobes above the stairs.
Anyway, so from this viewing, without actually seeing it in person, we actually, as stupid as it sounds, we decided to put an offer down on this property without seeing it. And I know it sounds crazy, like what are we doing? Putting in an offer on a house that is a big purchase, by the way, without seeing it in person. This could be stupid, or we could be smart. We're probably just a bit stupid. Okay, I don't know what's going on in the housing process. I don't know if this is the whole housing process in general, or it's just the timing, or the place is that area in high demand. I don't really know. I don't know what was going on. But essentially at that time when we were booking viewings, everything was going so fast and we don't understand it. Are we just picking really in high demand places, or is the place in really high demand? I don't really know, but we would call up for a viewing. By the way, the ad on the viewing has just been up on that day, and I'd call on that day because I'm super on it. I want to be like one of the first people to view these properties. And the estate agent would get back to me saying that, oh yeah, that house is no longer available because the owner accepted an offer. And like, you mean to tell me that it just came up today? Today, I saw this up today. It says added today. You're telling me that I can't view the property? So I don't know how people get in there that fast. Even viewings that we had to get rejected because they accepted an offer on an earlier viewing. So we're like, okay, it's like that. It's like that. So I don't know. We didn't manage to get many viewings at that time. A lot of them were just accepting offers straight away. I don't know. But all I do know is that if we saw a property that we really liked, we gotta act fast, because we know that the properties are now being sold like this. Like I don't understand it, because when I'm viewing online, a lot of them say you have to view the property at least 3 times before you put in your offer. And in my head, I'm like, I don't have the time to do 3 viewings. I can't even get the 1 in. So I just know that we have to act in fast. And to like give you a bit of background, so Baz and I, we live like an hour and a half away from each other, and to the location that we want to buy in, I live an hour away from it. Baz lives about 2 hours and 40 minutes or something like that. And in order to go to a viewing, so Baz has my car, we can't go there in 2 separate cars and just meet in the middle, and not even in the middle, but meet at the location separately. We can't do that. In order for us to have a viewing, Baz will need to come pick me up, so drive an hour and a half to me, cool, then an hour down to the viewing. So when we have a viewing, we have to kind of plan it in advance, because we're not exactly that near it, and it's a bit of a hassle. So in terms of all these viewings, people were viewing things on the day that they called, and in my head I'm like, I'm sorry, I can't do that. And I know that's not much of an excuse, but I'm trying to justify this. So the sellers accepted our offer on the conditions that we viewed the house in person, which makes total sense, and that we provide our solicitor details so that he would know that we are serious business, because they were working on a tight deadline. It was at the end of March and they wanted everything to be done by June, which was a little over 2 months away at the time. Anyway, when viewing the property, I went with my mom, and the property seemed smaller than we thought, but nothing that we weren't expecting anyway. So for this house is not bad at all. We actually really like the house. As you can tell, we put an offer on this house, but it was definitely going to be a project house for us. There was definitely a lot of stuff that we wanted to do up in the house, and we wanted to do things like redo all the flooring, wanted to renovate the bathroom, want to renovate a lot of things in this house. It was definitely kind of like a project house, you know. There will be a lot of things that we needed to do to this place.
You like it?
Oh, it's quite nice.
Okay. That's mainly you like it.
Why you don't like it?
It's fine. No, I like the view and that's it.
I thought the garden was going to be bigger, but other than that, everything looks the same to me.
Yeah.
So I'm happy with it.
Yeah, other than I'm so happy. I like the area.
Just to give you guys more of a backstory, not to make Baz and I sound even worse. We seem so unprepared for everything, but we weren't prepared to buy a house at this point. So our bank accounts weren't prepared to buy a house at this point. Like, we were always saving for a house. We were always saving. We don't know when we're gonna buy a house, but we know at the end of the day, our goal, when that will be, we would buy a house. And our kind of prediction-ish, we were thinking maybe by the end of the year we would buy a house. Clearly that didn't happen. So getting a mortgage, like I said, me and Baz, we weren't prepared to get a house here and then. So we didn't prepare our bank accounts for this, and you know, there was a risk in getting a mortgage. And honestly, like, we're good with our savings, we're good with our credit. We both had a perfect credit score of like 999 out of 999. So we were good with credit. But in terms of like outgoings and things like that, not so much. My spending was a bit atrocious. At this point, it was like March, end of March. Okay, so when you're getting a mortgage, you usually supply them with 3 months bank statements, and my March statement was not ready, so therefore I had to do my December, January, February bank statements. December including Christmas, with all my Christmas outgoings. I'm like, oh, they're gonna see that. Are they gonna take that in consideration? Because I kind of overspend on kind of some of my gifts this year, and then, well, last year, and in my head I'm like, oh, we may have a problem coming up. And honestly, I don't know how they assess all the outgoings and think like this is only for this month. That's fine, because I don't know, I was hoping for that. But then also for January and February, it's not like I underspent or anything. I wasn't expecting to buy a house, so I was literally just freely being like, I'm still saving the money, but I am also spending a lot of the money. So there was that, and in my head I'm like, we are really risking it for this mortgage, but you know, doesn't hurt to try. So in the end we decided to risk it, test our luck, and you know, see what happens. If it doesn't happen, doesn't happen. But if it happens, oh my god, it's happening. So when you're applying for a mortgage, you can use a mortgage broker, or you can go directly to whoever's lending you the money. It could be a bank or whatever. I don't know. We ended up using a free online mortgage broker. I kind of liked it because the online mortgage brokers, you don't really talk to person like face to face. There's no like, oh, I have to book an appointment to meet this person to go through my bank statements and all this kind of stuff. You're literally going through kind of like their own chat system, and you just back and forth like you're texting someone. So I kind of like that, especially with coronavirus and all this kind of stuff. At the time I was like, I don't want to see anybody. And with Baz and I being like an hour and a half away, which isn't that far away, but it is still, it's kind of like a trek to get to each other's places. So it's kind of like, to meet with a mortgage broker is a bit long, you know, every single time. Gotta drive a good amount just to get to wherever our appointment would be. So I kind of like the free online mortgage broker. You can get mortgage brokers not for free, which I'll probably do a better service. But I didn't want to pay for a mortgage broker, so I did a free online one. I use Habito or Habito, I don't know how to pronounce it. And overall, I have nothing bad to say about it. It was okay. I'm so scared. My mum called me downstairs and she was like, I think you got a letter maybe from your mortgage, because this is addressed to me and Baz, and we don't get letters addressed to both of us together unless, like, what other documents do we have together? So I hope this is the mortgage. Okay, one sec. Oh, dropping everything. Ignore my greasy hair. Oh my god, can you hear me? Can you hear me?
Yeah. What's up?
We got our mortgage.
Are you serious?
And like I said, we got our mortgage off, and honestly, we were so excited to receive this back because it was such a like an anticipating thing of just like, will we be able to get a mortgage? Yes or no? Because, you know, our outgoings, they were ridiculous. Oh my god, it was such an exciting time. And we prepared ourselves for the rejection. So to have the mortgage offer come back, more than thankful. And then from that, we can move on to the next step. So when you're buying a house, it's recommended that you do a survey on your house. I've heard a few things here and there about a survey. Bearing in mind, just want to put out there, I'm a first-time buyer, so all these new words that came in, I'm just mixing them all up because I know I heard surveyor, I heard the word surveyor here, heard the word surveyor there, thought the surveyors do the same thing. Well, they kind of do, but essentially in your mortgage people take out a surveyor to the property just to make sure the house is worth what it's worth. And I thought that was part of like your home survey thing. Apparently not. Apparently it does get confused a lot because it happened to me. I was like, yeah, the mortgage people got it. Then I realized later, oh, you actually need to take a separate survey out on your home. So essentially the purpose of a survey, the one that you do yourself, is not compulsory, but it is recommended. But what it does, it's a detailed report on your home, on like I wrote it down here somewhere. It's a detailed inspection of your property's condition. So this essentially helps you when you're buying a house, and so you know that this is the condition of your property when you're buying it, so you're not left with all these extra costs with unwanted repairs that you didn't even know about before buying the house. And then with that, if there are any problems in the house that need to be resolved, because you're gonna be the one fixing the problem very, very shortly, then you can negotiate your price based on your survey. There are 3 surveys that you can do, but the 2 main ones that people tend to take out is the home buyer one and the building survey. I did a building survey. The home buyer one, I got it all written down because I can't remember this off by heart. The home buyer survey deals with the property condition, potential legal issue, urgent defects that will affect the property, and advice on repairs and maintenance. And the building survey is all that and more. The building survey will also have an in-depth look of the property and look at all like the materials that things are made of and all that kind of stuff. And so that's essentially what it is. It's just a really expensive report which uses a traffic light signal. So it'll be like green is good, amber is good, it may need repairing in the future, or there's red where it's like this needs some urgent attention. And honestly, when I was viewing this property, I didn't see anything that was alarming. I didn't think anything would be alarming. So, but then again, I didn't know. I'm not trained in this kind of profession. So I have been watching a load of videos when it comes to buying a house, like house tips, my experience and all that kind of stuff. And then when it comes to the survey bit, people always say get a building survey, because you never know. You really never know, because the price difference between a home buyer survey and the building survey, for me, I'm like, I'm already paying a lot. Let me just pay a little bit extra just to get that more in-depth look on whatever I'm buying, because it is a really expensive buy. You're buying a house. So when we got a home buyer survey back, there was 3 things that kind of like sparked a little thing in there. There were the windows upstairs, which were a bit too high. Apparently they're a fire safety hazard. Well, there was 2 fire safety hazards. First was the windows. So basically the windows are, I think it was something like 0.1 meters too high, the opening of the windows. The openings are at the very bottom of the windows. You open them from the bottom and they're a bit too high. So that is a fire safety hazard. Another fire safety hazard was the stairs, the banisters of the stairs. And it was like some child safety thing, like if you have children it's easy to climb, but we were gonna replace the stairs anyway, so we're like, that's okay because we're gonna get rid of that. And another thing is that the garage, there was a tile missing from the roof of the garage, so we're like, oh, okay, I don't know anything about that, but okay. But there was nothing that gave a reaction of, oh my god, this needs to be fixed, this is gonna cost a lot of money to redo or anything like that. So house is in pretty good condition. So now to negotiate the price. So we've always heard that after you get your building survey, home survey, whatever survey that you got, if there are things that you need to repair, that you should deduct it from your offer that you have made. And the thing is, we were both happy with the offer we made, and we're thinking, we're good, and we sat on it for actually a bit too long. I think it was just at the back of our heads, and then I think we just kept on watching a lot of videos saying that, yeah, you should negotiate it because you're gonna end up paying this later down the line. So in the end, I think it was like a few weeks after, we messaged our estate agent asking if we can lower the price, and we were just like, how much do we really lower the price on? Because I feel like we had quite a good deal on the house, so we were just like, 1,000? 1,000 wouldn't even be that much compared to the actual price tag of an actual house. Because we were like, 1,000 is good, because the thing is, the guy that's living in this house already is taking the cooker, a lot of things, the cooker, the washing machine, all sorts of stuff. And we're like, oh, okay. Which, to be fair, you can do that. But this house in particular, the cooker has been there for many owners. For the owner before the seller that we are buying the house from had that, and the owner before them. We don't know how long this cooker's been there for, but it's an old cooker and it's been there for many owners of this property. And this guy, he's like, I'm taking it there, I'm taking all of this stuff. He's taking a lot of things there. In my head I'm like, oh, how are you gonna even use that for your next property? But okay, you do you. But it doesn't matter anyway, because in my head I'm thinking it's an opportunity for a new cooker, because that cooker is old, and I'm quite happy buying a new cooker. What I was saying was the fact that he kept a lot of the things that were in the house that kind of like, not embedded in the house, because of course you can take anything in the house out of the house, but just a lot of the things that you're like, you didn't expect he would take. We're like, let's just do 1,000, because we have to buy all this extra stuff on top of the house that we didn't expect that we we're needing to buy. So we're like 1,000's good because we want to do things like replace the banister of the stairs, which was part of the list anyway. So we're like, if we can get 1,000 off, that's cool. We asked the estate agent if we could take 1,000 off. We had no response for like a good few weeks, and we're like, any update on this? And he came back saying that the seller basically rejected the 1,000 off, which was like, you know what, we're fine with it because we just tried it anyway, because there wasn't actually any real defect to the house that we were like, this is gonna be a major cost to us. So we're like, yeah, that's fine. And he basically justified it as the house, the offer that we gave you was at a good price, all this stuff, it was fairly priced. And we were like, you know what, we tried. We did try. And we didn't succeed, but we tried. So the deadline, let's talk about the deadline. So from the moment we viewed this property, from the moment my mum and I viewed this property in person, the estate agent said to us that the seller has a deadline for June. Can you make it? And the June deadline, bearing in mind this time was in the end of March, coming on April, so it was a good like 2 months and a little bit, and we're like, yeah, I guess I'm a first-time buyer, so in my head I'm like, I don't know how long this process goes. I don't even know how this process goes, so I'm just gonna say, yeah, I mean, on my end it's gonna be good. Don't know about my solicitor. It depends on my solicitor, because you know, in the end of the day, I am not in control of how fast my solicitor works, because she may have a lot of cases, and not only that, communicating with the other solicitor, and then also we are in a chain and all sorts of different things. And so I was just like, yeah, probably, maybe, because who really knows if I can really get this done in time. Anyways, what I'm trying to say is we kind of knew there was a rough June deadline. He didn't tell us specifically a certain date, so I didn't take it that harsh. Also, I know that estate agents are full of shit. They just kind of want to know, like, can they get this deal? They just want their commission, really. And so in my head, I'm like, yeah, so rough June deadline. Cool. And he kind of always told us things like, for instance, a couple of weeks ago, he was saying to me on the phone like, oh, it has to be done at the end of this week, or that's it. End of the week comes by, it's still not done, and he calls me the next week, goes, has to be done at the end of the week. So I keep hearing this, has to be done at the end of the week. We're in the middle of June and it's still, we're almost there, but it hasn't been done and nothing's happened. So I'm like, in my head, I don't know anything about this June deadline. And then in the UK, so if you're not living in the UK, we have stamp duty, and currently there is a stamp duty holiday until the end of June. So when I messaged my solicitor earlier on, and she said that, because I messaged her asking, will this be able to be done by June, because my seller's got a June deadline, and because in my head I'm thinking, if she's saying no, then buying this house isn't really a reality, is it? Especially, but then again, we don't know how truthful this estate agent is being. So I asked her if a realistic deadline would be June, and she said it's possible, but it's also not possible. It really depends on other factors as well, all that kind of stuff. And she was going on about stamp duty. She was like, I understand that everyone's trying to take advantage of the stamp duty holiday, however, so anyways, as I was saying, stamp duty. So we pay stamp duty, which is essentially your tax for buying the house, and it's like it's priced at different percentages in different brackets and whatever. But if you're a first-time buyer, you don't pay it unless you're buying a house over £300,000. Anyways, and because of this whole pandemic and everything, it really slowed down the housing process and all that stuff. So they introduced the stamp duty holiday, which ends at the end of June. So that was the reason why my solicitor was going on about people want to take advantage of the stamp duty holiday. And in my head, I'm like, oh, that's why, June deadline, because you want to take advantage of the stamp duty holiday. So I actually didn't get an actual answer from the estate agent to why there was a June deadline. So, and honestly, I wouldn't really push for asking him, because he could make up any excuse, because he told me many things in our viewing, like, this is a big huge window, and in my head I'm like, in our viewing there was just a load of things I'm like, this guy's full of shit. So I just can never trust his words. So I don't really ask him many questions. So in my head I'm thinking, okay, he said June deadline. In my head I'm thinking, we're already in June, so, and it's not done. So I'm thinking, you mean the end of June. So like probably people up in the chain, I don't know how big my chain is, by the way, but people like, maybe, I don't know who want to take advantage of the stamp duty holiday. I mean, like, why wouldn't you? Free tax, free, and the stamp duty is usually a lot of money. So taking advantage of that, I understand that, whatever, cool. So a few days ago, I got a message from my solicitor and she was saying the chain is pushing an exchange for Thursday. And I'm like, Thursday? It is a Wednesday today. So you're telling me tomorrow? Tomorrow is the exchange? Oh my god. So I was so excited because I'm like, okay. Thursday comes around, by the way. I hear nothing. But I'm like, I'm assuming in my head, exchange is happening, it's all cool. I'm hearing silence because they're doing the work. Anyway, Friday comes along, I get a message from my solicitor. So we're talking about present day right now. So I'm getting a message from the solicitor at the end of the day. What a way to start the end of the day on a Friday. That she tells me that one person, so there's someone in the chain, so not my seller, my seller's seller pulled out last minute without telling anyone. And it's sad to say. Apparently he or she or they were the ones that had that June deadline that I was on about. But honestly, I was never given much detail about this June deadline to hurry my solicitor or anything. To be fair, my solicitor was getting very, very hurried by the estate agent on my half and on the seller's behalf. So I didn't really have to chase my estate agent at all. And to be fair, I feel like she's been working quite a lot faster than a usual solicitor. So I never had to rush her anyway. It's just for this June deadline that I never took so seriously. So yeah, so here we are now, and it was a Friday, and essentially I won't hear anything about this till Monday. So maybe the estate agent can convince them to come back into the chain, or I honestly, I don't know the reason why they pulled out of the chain. So yeah, so if all goes well, I can proceed with the exchange and completion date, by the way, completion date was aimed for the 25th of June, which is very, very soon, extremely soon. And so if all goes well, I'll be having a house very, very soon, but I'm not expecting anything to go well. So if not, we are starting the process all over again. And this is my house buying process so far. Please help me. I'm still here.